President Obama gave a national security speech at an Air Force base, and there was a genuine, bone-chilling, unsettling moment that I want to share with you guys. Let's watch, and then we'll discuss.
As you know all too well, your mission and the course of history was changed after the 9/11 attacks. By the time I took office, the United States had been at war for 7 years. For 8 years that I've been in office, there has not been a day when a terrorist organization or some radicalized individual was not plotting to kill Americans. And on January 20th, I will become the first president of the United States to serve 2 full terms during a time of war.
Okay, am I overreacting here? That's not a time to clap. What the fuck was that? I will be the first sitting president to have 2 full terms at war. And they clap. He's at an Air Force base. So those are people who are serving. Okay, I don't think I'm overreacting, not only because of what you just saw, but also because the White House, the official White House account, tweeted that out in quotes as if it was something to brag about. Guys, what is going on? Like that, if that was a Republican president, if George W. Bush had said that, and then they were bragging about it on the Twitter account, and there was, explosive applause in the room, wouldn't all of us say, like, what is wrong with you savages, you barbarians, you imperialists who are proud of it? And it's not like, I feel like they've even given up the pretext of we're doing it to defend against imminent attack against the nation. Like that, you used to have to make a case that was going to happen, even if it was bullshit, in order to muster up people enough to say, okay, let's go to war. We got to do what we got to do. We got to protect the country. Now it's like they've given up on that. They're like, don't even bother doing the bullshit to try to make people feel like we got to do it. We got to do it. Now you just do it. Now you do it. You have bullshit reasons, and then you turn around and you say, in a speech, I'll be the first president to sit 2 full terms at war. And everybody cheers. It reminds me of the Star Wars scene. Like, that's how liberty dies, with thunderous applause. I mean, this is Orwell 101. It's taken over. Now people respond to the idea of perpetual war as if Obama just said, we spent 2 full terms not at war. We've had peace for 2 full terms. Okay, that would be an applause line. Yes! Peace, no war. Wonderful. Now he says the opposite. We've been at war 2 full terms. People are like, yes! Ugh, war. How does that make the U.S. look to the rest of the world, by the way? How does that make it? I mean, for all of our talk about upholding human rights, civil liberties, values, how does that make everybody else in the world is going to look at that and go, they're fucking cheering war? Endless war? Endless war. The war in Afghanistan started in 2001. It's 2016, bitch. We're still there. There's not even a defined, once we do X, Y, and Z, then we get out. It's just, no, we're there. We're in Afghanistan, and that's what it is. Now it's just perpetual, endless war, and nobody says anything about it, and the news doesn't fucking cover it. I'd love to see somebody do a report and, go back and track it. How many days did CNN go and the mainstream media go without even mentioning the fact that we still have 2 full-scale wars going on, one in Afghanistan, one in Iraq? How many days? We're at war. We're 2 wars. And the media's like, oh, it doesn't even make the fucking news. Don't even cover it. Don't even cover it. Did you see Donald Trump's tweet? He tweeted something. Not to mention the 7 interventions. I'm talking about the 2 wars. But then you also got to factor in the countries where they're doing just drone strikes. You got to factor in the countries where they're doing traditional airstrikes. You got to factor in the places where they're special ops boots on the ground, but don't call them boots on the ground. They're just special ops. And I also love another Orwellian trick. Yes, we just drone strike Yemen, but that's not an act of war. Oh, really? So if China drone bombs, I don't know, a white supremacist enclave in Mississippi, and they turn around and go, no, it's cool, America, don't worry. It wasn't an act of war, even though we drone bombed Mississippi. Will we accept that argument? It was just a little droning, and then they got out. They droned, and then they went and grabbed a sandwich. No, we'd say, are you fucking mental? No, of course that's an act of war. So we are doing it in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, Libya. And everybody's liberal democratic president. He promised peace. But now we're going to cheer when he says, I've been at war for 2 full terms. That's nothing to fucking brag about. That's disgusting. We have 800 military bases in 70 countries. And it costs us $100 billion a year to maintain. Flint, Michigan doesn't have clean water. You think maybe we could use some of those resources to, I don't know, make sure our people don't die? Wacky idea, I know. Our infrastructure gets a grade of D. The war in Iraq, when all is said and done by the year 2053, and you include the interest and everything, will cost $7 trillion. So you have all the money ever for that. But it's a common thing that, people will bring up in the House and the Senate when you talk about a program to help poor people. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. No, I don't know where we're going to get the money. The numbers don't work. I mean, don't be crazy. Don't be stupid. So it's the patriotic thing to cheer endless war, but it's unpatriotic to say, hey, maybe we should feed our kids. Maybe if somebody's struggling and they're living in poverty, maybe we should address that. No, you need to suck it up and accept the fact that 50% of Americans make $30,000 a year or less. Accept the fact that 76% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Accept the fact that income inequality is at record heights. Accept the fact that the government is now owned by the rich. We have an oligarchy. We have a kleptocracy. Accept that, and you better cheer when the supposedly liberal Democratic president says, we've been at war for 2 full terms. Again, imagine a Republican says that. Imagine Donald Trump after, let's just say, fast forward, assume he gets 8 years, assume he's been doing the same thing as Obama the whole time, endless war. And he said that. We've been at war for 8 years. Tremendous. Let me just tell you. Believe me. We've been at war for 8 years, believe me. How would the left react? What the... Are you bragging about war? And motherfucker, this ain't no damn World War II. This isn't like existential threat to the U.S. This is, you started the war on terror in 2001, and today there are more terrorists. You've been fighting the whole time. Now there are more of them. That's like getting involved in World War II, and then at the end of World War II, look at that, there's more Nazis. Now we have 2 Hitlers. So understand it's been counterproductive. And because you've killed so many civilians that you've radicalized the family members and the friends of those civilians who you killed. Counterproductive, immoral, unethical, wrong, and people cheer. Yeah. That's what it is, what we do. We do endless war, and you should cheer for that. I'm imagining a speech in Iran, the Grand Ayatollah. We've been at war for 8 straight years. We go, yes. U.S. media would paint that immediately. Iranian savages. Look at these savage, unenlightened assholes. Are you kidding me? This is 2016. That's how you're going to react to the news of endless war? You're going to fucking cheer? You're that tribalistic? Is that what it is? You shut off your mind that much? But in the U.S., it's what it is, man. American exceptionalism. By the way, American exceptionalism, what is that notion? Think about it. We like to say 2 things at once. One thing is, everybody's equal. We're the world police because we want to treat everybody equally and everybody has human rights. They say that, and then the next breath, they say American exceptionalism. What is American exceptionalism? What does exceptional mean? It means better than. It means supreme. So maybe another term for it is American supremacist, which is exactly the ideology of the neocons. which is why they were so grotesque. But now you have even supposedly liberal Democrats buying into the framework. American supremacists. Hey, man, look, I don't know what the problem is around the world, but the answer is more United States military action. That's the answer. So, and don't worry, it's cool because we're always on the right side, even when we're on the wrong side, because we just declare that we're on the right side. So when we arm Saudi Arabia and, they call all atheists terrorists and don't let women drive and treat them as second-class citizens and behead people for drug smuggling and sorcery and apostasy and witchcraft and implement a literal ultra-conservative interpretation of Sharia. We believe in human rights. Well, why are you supporting the number one regime on the planet that does not? We believe in human rights, American supremacy, American exceptionalism. We're better, so whatever we do is okay. So when we say we're at war for 8 years, it's not like if you say you're at war for 8 years. If you say it, you're a savage. If we say it, we're the enlightened liberators of the world. The same goddamn tricks every empire in human history ever did. And a bunch of people fall for it. If you fall for it, I feel bad for you. I do. How naive are you? Like, how, really? You haven't figured any of this out yet? You haven't, looked at it with a critical eye? You haven't gone, oh, look at that. We support many human rights abusing regimes, so maybe our prime motivator in foreign policy is not human rights. Maybe it's business interests. Maybe it's corporations. Maybe it's natural resources. Maybe it's a power dynamic. Maybe it's control. Maybe it's imperialism. No, it can't be that, because we're the good guys. We're the good guys. So when a room full of U.S. soldiers cheers when the president says, we've been at war for 8 years straight, 2 full terms, that's not a sign of moral decay at all. No. Actually, it's exactly what it is. Even the supposedly liberal Democratic presidents cheering for endless war. I got news for everybody. War is horrific, and it should be a last resort to defend the country from imminent attack. We've gotten rid of that, and now it's the opposite. Left is right, up is down, wrong is right, and 8 years at war is something to be super happy about. So that's where we're at now. And this is why we need a real left in America to find the moral core of the country and drive home the principles and the ideals that are necessary in order to be good people.